New prediction. Am I the asshole for telling my father, quote, I do know that? I, F28, am a wildlife biologist. I have a master's degree in wildlife conservation, and I'm hoping to go for my doctorate soon. I've worked in the field since I was 16 and am very passionate about it. When visiting my family recently for Easter, my mom asked me to tell the family a little bit about work. I was very excited to talk about my current research. Here's where the issue comes in though. My father, M60, would respond to almost everything I said with, I don't know about that. At first, I tried to ignore it, but it just didn't stop. Eventually, I responded, well, I do, given the 2 degrees and all. I responded in a light, playful tone, but he did not take it well at all. He immediately accused me of being disrespectful. Name something more fragile than the ego of a man. I responded, I'm sorry, but it's disrespectful of you to insinuate that you know more than I do about my field. Dinner got pretty quiet after that. I finished the meal, helped with the dishes, and said goodbye before leaving. But on the ride home, I got a phone call from my mother asking me why I felt the need to aggravate my father and why I had to, quote unquote, talk back. I am a 28-year-old professional. This feels insane to me. Am I the asshole? This is an adult woman who is a literal master in her field. Not the asshole. At first you used a playful tone so you weren't confronting him in front of other people. He was being disrespectful to you to start with. Is this a pattern with him? Oh, wow. Unfortunately, OP responds, unfortunately, yes, which is why it's so hard to, quote, just ignore it, as my mother suggests. She's a literal expert and he wants to cast doubts. Right. Like literally that's just a way, that's just a method of control. Like you are saying something that I don't like that undermines my immediate authority as the de facto dictator of our family dynamic. So you are talking back to me and I'm going to use that to make you shut up so I hold my power over everyone. His mansplaining is a pattern, no effing way. Who would have thought? He does this all the time. Oh my God, right? Oh, yeah. No, not the asshole. Not even like there is no conceivable way that you could be the asshole for advocating for yourself and standing up for yourself. No. I gotta do another one. I'm so excited to read this title right now. Are you ready for this? Am I the asshole for not wanting to pay for my sister's wig after I called her a bald-headed broke bitch? I hadn't read ahead like at all. My 17M sister 18F decided to get a pixie cut. She had it for about 2 weeks and now she hates it. She came to me and told me that it's embarrassing that my hair is longer than hers and she wants me to shave my head. I told her that I would not shave my head and that if she doesn't like how her hair is, she should just get a wig instead. She told me that she doesn't have the money to buy a wig, and so I told her to ask our parents to get her one, and she told me that she wasn't going to do that because they were the ones who advised her not to cut her hair in the first place, and it'll be embarrassing to admit that they were right. She then again asked me to cut my hair, and I told her no. She then got mad at me and told me that no man actually cared about their hair, and if I wanted to be a girl so bad, I should just say that instead. This pissed me off, so I told her that it wasn't my fault that she was a bald-headed broke bitch, and if she wanted to get a wig, she should just get a job instead. Fuck. She was not happy when I called her bald-headed and went to go tell our parents. Our parents got mad at both of us for arguing, and then after they got done yelling at us, my dad told me that he wants me to pay for my sister's wig. He told me that I had to pay for her wig because what I said to her was disrespectful. He said what she said was wrong, but what I said was worse. I told him that I only said that because she kept antagonizing me. He kept insisting that me paying for the wig is going to be my punishment and he'll think of something for her. I told him that I've been saving my money since I started working and I wasn't going to spend any of it on her. I told my dad that if he takes money out of my account, that I wasn't going to speak to him until he puts everything back. Because knowing my sister, she's probably going to try and pick the most expensive one. My parents are upset with me because they said I'm trying to run away from accountability and they find it unreasonable that I would try and punish them for that. I don't see why they can't pay it for themselves. Yeah, she's the one running from accountability. Top comment here. Your parents are hypocrites because accountability also includes having to live with the natural consequences of one's own choices. So it's hypocritical of them to try to force you to be accountable in a way that actually allows your sister to avoid consequences. And if they take your money without consent, they're also tyrants. Good. No, she's disrespectful and rude as hell. 100%. Was it maybe a little bit too far for him to call her a bald-headed broke bitch? Maybe. Am I reclining in my chair with some fresh extra butter popcorn in the corner going absolutely yes, absolutely yes. Okay, let's do some keyword searches. Y'all give me some fucking juicy keywords. Panera Bread? What's going on at a Panera Bread? Uh-oh. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that I feel bad for her unborn baby? My husband's family is pretty messed up. I, 36, have two sister-in-laws, Jane, 40, and Abby, 25. Mother-in-law, 65, and Jane do not get along at all, and Abby is her golden child and spoiled as hell. Mother-in-law has expressed a couple times in the previous year that she would like a better relationship with Jane, but Jane finally got to the point that she was ready to move forward. Mother-in-law and Jane were going to go shopping today, but honestly I think they are afraid to be alone together, so Jane invited me. Mother-in-law was not happy and said she is bringing Abby. Abby can't stand that her mom and Jane are possibly reconciling. She refers to herself as an only child and is used to getting all of mother-in-law's attention. Also, she is like a month pregnant and thinks everything revolves around her baby. She keeps saying that she is giving mother-in-law her first grandchild, and when I point out that I have kids, she says they don't count. Anyway, she acted ridiculous today. She kept grabbing onto mother-in-law, calling her mommy, talking in baby talk, and she would freak if she saw Jane and mother-in-law talking at all. She literally attempted to sit on her at Panera Bread, and when mother-in-law asked her to get off, she was like, "But mommy," at the Panera Bread. The final straw was when she screamed at mother-in-law in the middle of the store, "Why did you traffic me from the Philippines if you already had a daughter?" The final straw was when she screamed at mother-in-law in the middle of the store, "Why did you traffic me from the Philippines if you already had a daughter?" She is adopted, but I have no idea what the fuck she was talking about, and people turned to stare. Jane was getting frustrated, but mother-in-law can never say no to Abby. I finally told Abby that I feel bad for her baby because she is clearly on the mental level of a toddler, and I can't imagine her as a mother. Abby stormed off, and mother-in-law left with her. Mother-in-law texted me that I am horrible, and I'm just bitter over not getting her money. Now the whole family is having drama, and Abby is literally grasping at straws. She is adopted, her baby is going to be biracial, and trying to make it sound like I insulted her for some horrible reason. This post is from 3 years ago, had 1.2K upvotes. I was not expecting anything wild. Joke's on me, I guess. Joke's on me. I mean, she's not wrong. That attitude is not that of an adult, right? Yeah, not the asshole. Ma'am, this is a Panera Bread. Am I the asshole for asking my fiance's 20-year-old son to pay me back $50 for moonshine he opened and drank? There we go. I recently won a raffle of a Yeti cooler full of alcohol, including 2 large jars of Old Smoky moonshine. I put all of the alcohol in the refrigerator in the garage where we keep the alcohol. I had planned on either re-gifting it or taking it on a camping trip in May to share with the group of people who were going. 16 people. I went to the refrigerator this morning to get a soda and noticed that the seals on both of the jars of moonshine had been broken. I did not open it, nor did my fiance. His son has been warned before that we do not tolerate drug use at all, nor him drinking alcohol until after he is 21, as his mother is batshit crazy and we don't want to get caught up in anything. His son last summer had asked to drink one of my alcoholic beverages in the can, very strong, and I informed him no, he was not 21 and I only had 2 left. Well, the next morning I wake up to the fact that he ended up drinking one anyway, and when his father confronted him, he laughed as if it wasn't a big deal. I want to ask him to reimburse me $50 as they are $25 each so that I can take unopened jars camping and also teach him a lesson. I do not think it acceptable to brush it under the rug. Why do you open both jars? Why did he partially drink out of 2 bottles of moonshine? I thought it would be less obvious if they looked the same. Oh, you know, probably. I don't like OP's vibes, but a very reasonable request. Right. Yeah. Vibes are definitely off on this post. Yeah, with the information given, it's not an unreasonable request. Yep. All right. New prediction going live right now. New prediction. Am I the asshole for trying to take back $80,000 of the $160,000 my spouse spent behind my back? Went to charity, calling it now. My husband spent $160,000 investing in baseball cards without telling me. During this same time, he would get mad at me for spending money on meal plans or salon services. I would get yelled at for my disrespectful spending and my financial goals not aligning with his, so he'd say. He did most of his spending on his personal credit card that he paid for with our joint account. For a long time, I didn't have access to our online banking, so I didn't see the amounts he was paying in his credit card. Whenever I would question a $2,000 or $4,000 payment, he would have some excuse and usually would say it was on the family or grocery store. He would refuse to show me his statements. This is financial abuse. This is textbook financial abuse and manipulation. One day, driving to lunch, he mentioned how my friends owed him for the concert tickets I had used his card to buy. I agreed to get the money from them. In mentioning the card, though, I remembered seeing just another $4,000 payment come out of our joint account. This was after 2 months ago when he promised he had a $2,000 balance and was going to pay it off and stop using it. So I asked, I thought it was going to be paid off a couple months ago. That was all it took. He launched into me about how I ruin everything. We can't just enjoy the day. This is why my relationships never work, on, and dropped me back off to our house and left. It was this outburst that made me realize there was more going on. After lots of back and forth and digging and finally getting him to give me access to his credit card statements, I added up $160,000 in 3 years that he spent. I already realized the financial abuse that has taken place on so many levels, and there is so much I'm not including. During all of this, my husband met with a divorce lawyer, then begged me for another chance. That was about a year ago. I went to a divorce lawyer and then realized that I'm in the wrong and I'm gonna lose everything, so I'm gonna ask for another chance. We are still together, but as you can imagine, the financial issues are only one of many issues we have. At the time, I realized what he had spent and that I was so ill prepared for a divorce, I started transferring money from our joint to my personal every month. My goal, over time, is to take my half back, $80,000, and invest how I want to. He was of course mad, but I basically said, oh well, he should have considered me when he spent it and was only correcting a wrong. Recently, he made sure the money wasn't in the account when my transfer was scheduled. He did this 2 months in a row and said I could no longer do this. I waited for the money to be there and did the transfer anyway. He went nuts, telling me I'm a rat, he's selling the house, dissolving our business, etc., etc. He says that it's wrong for me to go tit for tat and that I should just let it go. The money is just sitting in my account as I have not spent any of it. Am I the asshole for trying to take my half back over time? Info. Have you actually seen this baseball card collection? I mean, it sounds like he was spending it on other things. In addition, I would insist on the receipts, not just the credit card. I would Google the business on the credit card, as it sounds like he was spending it elsewhere. Aside from that, dump him, claw back your money in the divorce, and live a better life. I all but guarantee that this divorce consultant told him that you wouldn't pay him alimony and that you had grounds for financial abuse and mental cruelty, not the asshole. OP responds, yes, the cards are everywhere, organized in sleeves and boxes. He has many of them PSA graded. I checked all of the companies on the statements I was unsure of. Most were grading companies or sellers. Bro spent half a house's worth of money on his collector hobby and then things started to get worse. Not even, like, that's a full-ass house. Cannot fathom that sum of money, like, to invest in a hobby. Yeah, it's so much. It's so much. Your FAP ends here. FAP truck, left-hand fapper, Fappington the Third, FAP train, Fappy feet, FAP mode, my FAP hand, wizard FAP sleeves, FAP to the future, no FAP, Fapple cake, the FAP, Fapper man, Fapped and Hook, Fappuccino latte, Fap and cum. That's literally the entire Fap and cum. Fapper, Fapped in America, Fapping Queen, Faptimus Prime, Fapping for Jesus, Fap Milk, Milk Swapper, Fappachew, Fapplejacks, Fapple, Milk Fart, Fap Fap, Fappin Master, and Fappin. The FAP train. Yeah.